Is it live? Oh my goodness, I've been struggling with Facebook. It's live, it finally works. Hi there. Welcome to this week's self care challenge. I'm kind of expanding on that a little bit and shut off my notifications. Okay. All right, so this week we're talking about why you're so busy and 3 ways that you can create more time for yourself. Okay, and I talked about this a little bit. I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday. I'm a little off this week with my self care challenge, but I'm here. So I'll just go over right now. I'm going to get right into it. Why we're too busy. And so I'm going to speak from mainly a woman's point of view, but I'm sure there's plenty of men that can relate to this. And so a lot of us are going, going, going. So if you feel like you're overscheduled, you're kind of like a plastic bag in the wind being tossed around from here to there, from here, like you don't have control over your time. You're late to a lot of things, you're late to a lot of phone calls, you're forgetting about phone calls, you're forgetting about like your schedule, things that are on your schedule. Like maybe you're even forgetting to pick your kids up from school or something important because you're just so overtaxed your time. You feel like you can't catch up, like you don't have enough time in the day, right? So a lot of us feel this way, and a lot of us live like this. And I used to live like this day after day after day, and it's very stressful. It causes a lot of stress. It can cause anxiety, and it could end up leading to burnout. And that's what we want to avoid. And so that's my main goal, is to teach you guys deep level self-care, right? And so today I'm going to just talk about how we get there. So like the main thing is that there's especially with women, we're raised to always be like giving and taking care of people and kind of putting everybody else first. There's sort of this expectation for women to be in this very caring, nurturing position, right? And so we always feel like that's expected of us. And it does really get thrown on us a lot, like a lot, a lot. And we take these expectations to be our truth, right? So it's a societal expectation. It could be a family expectation, a partner expectation, maybe your friend group expectation. It could be so many different things, a community expectation. But the expectation is created by someone else and not yourself. And so it's very it's not very good for us. It's a burnout society. It always leads to burnout, and it's getting especially worse now, where with women, they're expected to take care of the kids. They're expected to be a good mom, but they're also expected to have the career and to partake in that matter and take care of the house. And don't forget to look good while you're doing it, and don't get old. Especially don't get old. Men are allowed to get old, so like, men are lucky. At least they're allowed to get old. They get like distinguished looking when they have their gray hair, distinguished, right? But women, when they have their gray hair, I get comments like, it looks great, but if you dyed your hair, you could look 10 years younger, Tina. You know that, right? Or if you let your hair go gray, men are never going to want to date you, or things like that. I get comments like that. I'm almost 100% positive that men don't get those comments. But men also have some really strange societal expectations that are completely made up. Like, okay, they have to be the provider, they have to be the protector, and they have to be all these things. But at the same time, they have to be able to communicate their feelings and be sensitive and do all these other things. And they're judged for both of those things, just like women are judged, right? So there's a lot of expectations that we're trying to live up to that are impossible. It's impossible to live up to these expectations. And it's almost worn by society like a badge of honor. Like when someone says, "What you been up to?" And you're like, "Oh my God, I'm so busy. I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this." And did you ever talk to someone and just like get exhausted listening to them? And you're like, are they really enjoying themselves? And I think there are truly some people who do really enjoy being busy, busy, busy like that. But there are, I feel like most people, the average human being, needs that downtime, needs like to relax, needs to like not know that they have to be act and do things a certain way that is expected by society or somebody else other than themselves. Okay, and so one of the things I like to do with myself and with other people when I'm working with them is to have them change their mindset about this expectation, because it's a made up expectation. All this stuff is made up, and by who it's made up I don't know. It's just a group of societal expectations. Who is this group? Who's creating it? Is it you? If it's not you, then you need to like just poo-poo the idea and get rid of it, okay? Because the only expectation that you need to live up to is your own expectation, okay? And that leads me to the second thing, which is the mindset shift, where I'm like, just stop comparing yourself to other people. It's ridiculous. It's a dream killer. It's a motivation killer. It's an everything killer, because everybody's circumstance is completely different. Some people get help, some people don't. Some people have so much support, some people don't. Some people have things happen to them that set them back, some people don't. There is no exact situation that you can compare yourself to another human being. So stop acting like there is, all right? And so stop, just look at the fact that when you look at somebody else and it makes you feel bad for some reason, look at it a different way. Look at it as, this is something that I obviously maybe want in my life, and maybe the fact that it's visible to me shows me that it's possible for me too. So this is something I want, and it's possible. If they can have it, then it's possible for me too. So try to just make a turn to a positive on that. So change the expectation of from society's expectation, which are from what I call bullshit expectations, or like quoting from Mind Valley, bullshit rules called bullshit rules, and make your own rules. Okay, so I always say you have control over your time, and you have control over the experience that you have in life. And the way that you do this is by creating your own expectations of yourself and competing with yourself. The only person that you have to compete with is the person that you were yesterday, okay? And all you could do is accept yourself and all your imperfections and exactly who you are today, and move forward and just try to better yourself and be a better version of yourself, right? And so that's all you could do. So those two mindset shifts are key to like changing this for yourself. If you want to make it so you don't feel like you're running out of time all the time, and you don't feel pressed for time all the time, or maybe also you might be feeling unappreciated, tossed around, like I said, in all these different directions, you're not respected, all these things. If you're feeling all these things, then it's a sign that you need to make these shifts. So those two mindset shifts. And now moving forward, there's 3 different action steps that you could start focusing on. And the first one is decluttering. And so I always talk about, I'm a geek about it, decluttering the mind, the space, and the processes, okay? Because when you declutter anything, whether it be actual physical space or the way that you do things, right? Or the way you think about things, then what you're doing is you're reducing friction. You're creating more space for you to do things, so things flow easier when they have space, and then you're reducing the friction. So when you reduce friction, what happens? When you reduce friction in a process, so to speak, okay? So a process would be something like, what is the process that you use to get ready in the morning and get yourself out of the house on time and go to work if you work outside of the house? So what is that process? It's kind of like a standard operating procedure of your life. So when you reduce friction from that, what you're doing is you're creating more time, because the better, more effective, and the more efficient that you make that process, you're creating more time for yourself. So when you do these things that I'm going to talk about right now, the decluttering and 2 other things, you create more time. And I'm talking, you can create hours within your week, okay? And so this is what everybody wants, right? They want more time. They want to expand the time that they have, right? And so this is how you do it. So decluttering your mind, your space, and the processes, it reduces anxiety, it reduces stress, okay? It reduces overwhelm, it removes the possibility of burnout, right? And it creates more time, okay? So it's just a win-win, all right? And then the next thing you need to do is to be able to set boundaries and maintain them. Now, this is the foundation for all self-care. So any type of process that you're going to do that's going to support you in moving forward and creating the experience you want in your life, which I call self-care. Okay, so anything that you do that supports that, it's supported by boundaries and maintain when you're maintaining those boundaries. That's the foundation. So if you don't have that foundation of boundaries, okay, which is how we teach people how to treat us, right? What we find acceptable in our life and what is unacceptable, right? So if we don't have any boundaries, any type of self-care is going to maybe help us in that moment, but not going to have the lasting effects that it could have if we had the boundaries to protect ourselves, right? And so boundaries is the foundation. It's the foundation that you need. So you need to look at all those places in your life where you feel taken advantage of, underappreciated. Your time isn't being respected. Nobody really respects the work that you do. When you feel that way in certain areas of your life, that means that's a place where you need to look at that and say, what kind of boundary can I set to show people what I want to experience? Because what's happening right now is unacceptable to me. I feel underappreciated. I don't feel loved. I don't feel supported. Okay. So the only person that's responsible for that is you, honestly. It's not somebody else's responsibility to make you feel that way. It's your responsibility. So what do you need to do? What boundary do you need to set in place in order to support that where you don't feel supported? Okay. And it's your responsibility to maintain it. So if somebody doesn't respect that boundary, there should be some kind of an outcome from that. Okay. This is how I expect to be treated. And if it doesn't happen, this is how I'm going to react. So there's always some kind of an outcome that you have to present. That's your maintenance of the boundary. It's not somebody else's responsibility to just respect that boundary because they're too focused on themselves. So that's your job. Okay. It's your job to teach people the way you want to be treated. If you feel like you're being mistreated, then you need to set some boundaries, okay? The last thing is to create your not to do list. Now, this should be fun. I actually have a worksheet for this, and I'll share a link for you so you can grab it. It'll either be in the show notes, but if you're watching this on social media, it'll be in the comments somewhere, okay? But I will share the worksheet with you guys. But it's really easy to do, even without the worksheet. And basically, you're making a list of your 3 Ds, okay? The things that you want to do, the things that you want to ditch, and the things that you want to delegate. Okay. And so it's kind of like when you're decluttering a closet. Okay. You go in the closet, you take something, and one thing you're going to get rid of, one thing you're going to give to Goodwill, and then something, and then the rest you're going to keep, right? So it's the same thing, but you're doing it with your to-do list. So you're going to look at how you're spending your time, and you're like, I don't really like doing that. Can I delegate it? If it can't be delegated, can I not do it at all? Can I delegate part of it? There's no like black and white here. Like, it's not like either I can delegate it or I can't delegate it. Can you delegate part of it? Like maybe a portion of it to make it better? Like, so it's about looking at the way you spend your time and making that not to-do list, right? So it's you could call it making your to-do list at the same time, but the point is to narrow things down and spend more time doing the things that you like and the things that light you up and the things that you're good at, and spend less time doing the things that suck the life out of you, that it's not your zone of genius, right? So those are the 3 action steps that you can take. So there's the 2 mindset shifts, right? It's about creating your own expectations and not comparing yourself. And then taking these 3 action steps where you're decluttering, you're setting boundaries, and you're creating your not to do list. And that's how you can create more time for yourself, right? If you're feeling too busy. I hope that was helpful. I teach all of these things in my Soul Aligned Self-Care method, which is inside of my Soul Aligned Self-Care boot camp. Okay, so if you're interested in that, you can reach out and ask me about that. But I teach all of these things inside of there. I go deep into all those subjects, and those of you who know me know that I love decluttering. And so decluttering sounds like such a simple thing. It sounds like, oh, we're just going to go into your closet and clean things out. But it's like that's the least of it, really. It can go so much deeper than that. And there's so many ways and so much power and so much time that you can gain from that. I hope that was helpful. I will see you next Wednesday, next week, for another self-care challenge. I love you guys. Bye.